In this video, we are going to set up some remote desktop servers that we can put our Unity game onto so that we can get some tracking data against a different player ID or a different client ID than this computer that we're recording on. So to do that, we'll go to Services and we'll go to EC2. And we'll go to Running Instances. Okay, now we have got a few servers here that I've been doing some testing on. We're not going to use any of those ones. We are going to launch new instances. Now, you are wanting to do this one in somewhere that is close nearby to you. So we're in Sydney. We're going to pick the Sydney region. If you are not in Sydney, then pick the one that is closest to you. Yes, that's all I have to say on that. So let's launch an instance. So I clicked on launch in the top left. Because we want to take advantage of the free tier, we'll tick on free tier only, and that'll show only things that are
free tier eligible.
Free tier eligible, yes. Now we're running this Unity game on Windows, so we are going to need to find a Windows server. There is one small problem. We don't want to pick server 2016 because this does not have the ability to run Unity games. So we're going to want to pick 2012 R2
What's
base.
in the community ones?
What's in the what? Sorry.
If you go up a bit more, the marketplace.
Oh, okay. Right. So these are the default images that have nothing on them. They are just brand new servers. They launch them. They're fresh installations. Do what you want. You can create an Amazon machine image or AMI. So as you create a server, you can take a snapshot of it and say, "This is now my machine image." And I want to duplicate that as many times as I want.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can make your own ones. You can go to the marketplace.
Does it cost money to make an AMI?
I don't think so. No, it will cost you the storage of keeping it on S3. But apart from that, I don't think so.
That's cool. You've got like firewall images and
so there's loads of cool stuff in here. There's quite a lot of
there's a big data one down there.
The one that we use at InfoTrack in here, if you know what the product's called, you could look for Tableau and then you'll find here's some Tableau images.
What is that?
We use Matillion, which is a ETL tool for Redshift, and if you are doing any Redshift work, I highly recommend Matillion. It is a fantastic piece of software. So these are servers that are set up ready to go with whatever piece of software there's on them.
What if you search Unity?
Matchmaker server for Unity.
Oh, it sounds like Tinder.
So there's some fun things in there. I think there's Tiny JPEG as well. Have they got one? Or is it Tiny something?
Tiny Pic?
Tiny Pic?
Hello. Tiny PNG.
I'm not going to keep guessing.
That's not.
Anyway, so these marketplace images, you can, like picking on Matillion. Here we go. This one, note that it's actually unticked the free tier eligible. We've gone to community. But this one here says this is how much the EC2 server costs, and this is how much the software deployed on that server costs on top of, which then gives you the total per hour. But remember, everything is charged hourly. So even when you go, oh my goodness, it's $5.73 per hour, you might only use it for 4 hours a day, then turn it off. And then the next day turn it on for those 4 hours a day, and then turn it off, and then keep it off over the weekend. So you're only paying for the time your server is actually online. Alright, so let's cancel that. We'll go back to Quick Start, free tier only, and I'm going to pick on Windows 2012 R2 base.
Can it not run on Ubuntu? We probably have to compile it.
You have to compile into the right one. So I'm going to just go with compiling for Windows. What have I got here? I have got the free tier eligible, which is now showing up as, hooray, I'm free. So we're going to pick on the micro server. You can pick different sizes as you want. I'm going to just go for the T2 micro. I'm going to go straight to review and launch. I'm going to accept all the defaults. You can go through and pick each individual piece and say, no, I want to have more storage, or I want to have different this or different that. You can set each individual thing that you want. I don't want that. I'm happy to go with the base build of what it says. I'm just going to go review and launch. And that'll say, are you sure this is what you want to do? I am going to give you this server. These are the security groups I'm going to set up for you, and I'm going to say, yes, that's fine. I understand what you're picking. Please launch. Now, you get a key pair. You get one chance to get access to the server. So I'm going to select a new key pair. Where am I going for here? So I've got existing ones because I can use existing key pairs that I've got. I'm going to instead go, no, I would like a new key pair for this server, please.
What if you do it without a key pair? What happens?
Then you would have to have everything that you wanted to happen on the server be deployed with the server. When you set up the server, you can say run these scripts with it, and now that'll be the setup.
And so you just can't access it.
Yeah, you could spin it up so it would do whatever it needed to do and then shut itself down when it's done.
Fair enough.
So this key pair gets you remote access to it. So let's go here. Create a new pair. I'm going to call this one 3D Buzz Unity Game, and I'm going to download the key pair file that it's going to give me. Hooray! I thought I downloaded that one, but it opened it, so I'll keep it open anyway. And I will launch this. Now, store it in a secure and accessible location. You will not have a chance to get this after it's done.
Cool.
So keep note of it. All right, now we'll go back to EC2.
We didn't set up RDP.
Correct, we haven't actually gotten a chance to do that yet.
But don't you have to do it, expose the port when setting up the instance?
Nope, you can do that after the server is done.
Oh, cool.
So that's one turning on. I'm going to set up a second one as well, just following the same defaults. I wanted to go to Quick Start. I want to define 2012 R2 base because it's free tier eligible. Hooray! I'll go for the general purpose tier 2 micro, which is free tier, and I will review and launch and accept all the defaults and launch. And I will choose an existing key pair, which is the same one that I've already got.
Yeah. So I noticed that some of the ones that weren't free tier eligible were pretty much only because they've got SQL Server installed on them. Couldn't you just install SQL Server on the free tier?
You could, yeah, but there's a licensing issue there. SQL Server does have licensing costs. You could install the Express edition of SQL Server on there and get away with that. But there's also an edition on there that comes with the SQL Server as the free tier.
Oh.
So you could combine them.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, licensing is the thing to take care of there. Alright, so we'll go, this is launching and saying, your instances is now launching. Hooray! And get notified of estimated charges if you want to get building alerts. We're on the free tier, so we don't really have to worry about that. So we'll go to EC2. While these are still launching, where are they? Oh, they're on already, but they're still initializing the status check. So we'll quickly talk about what the free tier actually means. You have 12 months of free tier activity to use. Now that is a sum of 12 months. You could turn on one server, one free tier server, and you could leave it running for the full 12 months without turning it off. But if you turn on two, then you're eating into that time twice as fast. Cool. So that is the way it comes up with that 12 months count. It could be spread out over 12 months, or it could be right down to 1 month if you had all of them running, if you had 12 servers running continuously for 1 month.
That's pretty cool.
So keep that one in mind. Rightio, so the ones that we've got here, the ones that we're going to work with are the ones that have no name. Let's give our servers a name. We'll call this one Unity Game 1, and the next one we'll call Unity Game 2. Now this name is not naming the server in any way, it's just naming it so that we can see in the console what server we're actually talking to.
Yep.
Alright. Now that they should be up and running, we would like to remote desktop to the machines. Now as Nick was saying, we need to be able to connect to it somehow, because by default AWS locks everything down and says nothing can talk to me.
Except for SSH. Except
for SSH, which you can block that actually.
Yep.
Alright, so here we are under the security group. I've picked on one of the servers, so you can pick on whichever one you would like to. I'm going to pick on, let's go for one, because one should be a little bit further along. We're going to go to the security group. It has called itself Launch Wizard 9. You could call it whatever you wanted if you would follow through the setup and gone next, instead of just going
I think that's
launch
actually the later one. The original one started with Launch Wizard 8.
Yeah, I was just thinking 8 was a bit weird.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so I've renamed them in the wrong order. Whoops. Let's go to Launch Wizard 8. This is a security group. And now it says this is the group name, Launch Wizard 8. Let's pull this up so we've got a bit more space. And then we can say this is the description about it. It's not too much information in there. Let's go to Inbound. So Inbound says, how would you like to be able to talk to this server? And it says, currently, I am available for remote desktop through everywhere.
Oh, okay, cool. So, alright, cool. Didn't need to worry about it.
Yeah, anyone can, it's not locked down to be remoted to from any particular spot. It's just, it is currently open to anyone. All you need to have is that PEM file to be able to get the administrator password. But let's say you don't want that, and we want it so that we can only connect to this server from here, from where we are right now. So we can go edit, and it'll say, what type of rule do you want to add? Do you want to play with? So this is the existing one. Let's go to add rule, and we can say, you know what, these are the type of connections that are available to it. Maybe you want to, you would set up RDP so that you could remote onto the server and set up your web server, and then go, now I no longer want remote desktop access, I would only like HTTP access, please, or I would only like HTTPS access. So then you would remove the RDP, and now no one can remote desktop to the server. The server will now only accept connections across 443, which is reserved for HTTPS.
Yep.
Alright, so let's go to RDP. Source is going to be anywhere. Oh my goodness, no, it's going to be my IP. So now if you are on the IP 59.100.129.161, you will be able to remote desktop onto this server, but you would still need to know the password to get onto it. Now, similarly to Inbound, you can say that traffic can only talk to specific servers as well. So you can create a network and say this server will be the HTTP server, and I want to have an outbound rule to talk to another SQL server, and that SQL server can say I will only talk to that original HTTP server, and I will only output my data to that HTTP server as well.
Cool.
So you can create some pretty cool little network things going on there. Let's go back to instances. So what have we actually changed? We've said RDP, we've locked it to this IP address. Let's go to instances, and we'll go to Unity Game 1, which really should be 2. Now we're looking at Launch Wizard 9 instead of 8. Naming them in the wrong order was dumb of me, accidental. We'll edit this RDP, and we'll say that the source of the connection can be my IP. So only this office is able to connect to it. Alright, and then we'll go to instances, and then we'll go back to Unity Game 2. I'm going to name these guys back to front. 1, 2. So let's pick on 1, and let's go connect. And it says, oh right, you want to get the password to this thing? Cool. Give me that PEM file that you had earlier. So we'll open that. It opened it in Notepad for me, so I will copy and paste this. If you saved it and didn't open it in Notepad, then you would just go to your downloads directory and copy the contents out and paste it in here. And say decrypt the password, and it goes, no worry, here is the administrator username and here is the password of that server. So we shall copy these, all 3 of them. The public DNS is important, and we'll go to this one. We'll make sure we don't forget about Nick wants to look at the timestamp. Awesome. And now you can download the remote desktop file for this, or you could press close and just remember what the DNS was. I'm going to remember what the DNS was. Now I need to do the same thing for Unity Game 2. I'd like to connect to it. Get me the password of the administrator account. It's already got that in there because it's the same key name. This is what I pasted in just a second ago. I will decrypt the password, and I now have the second account, or the access details for the second server.
Cool.
All right. Close. Any questions so far, Nick?
No.
Nope. Great. So how do we connect to these servers? You can copy and paste the DNS entry, which quickly let's look at what this says. The public DNS of this is EC2 because it's an EC2 server. It's come up with 56, 64, 28, 100. And then it's come up with which region I've selected, which was Sydney, and then it's on Amazon. Where it came up with these numbers from is the public IP address of this server. So here's the public IP, 52.64.28.100, 52.64.28.100.
So you can connect via the IP address as well, can't you?
You can connect through the IP address as well, yes.
So why should we connect through the DNS?
Well, so that we could change the DNS to something else. Maybe we'd want to call it gametestserver1.richardandnickarefriends.com.
Yep.
I was thinking of throwing Josh in there just to annoy you. But Alright, so now we'll go start run, and I can put in MSTSC, which is the shortcut for remote desktop. So we'll press enter on that one. Now put in the place you would like to connect to. Remote.infotrack is not where I'd like to connect to right now. That would be this one. So this is the DNS entry that I've just put in before, that I've copied from the console. I'll press connect, and now it'll say, hello, what would you like to connect as? I'd like to use, by default it's trying to use the account of the computer that you are currently on. Don't want to do that. We'll go more choices, and I'd like to put in the different account details, please. And this is where I will put in the username and password that it's asking for. So the administrator one and the password, I'll copy and paste that, and I'll remember, and I'll say okay. Oh no!
Didn't like that.
64. Which one did I do? Did I do the right one? 52.64.28.100. I put the wrong password there. This one. 52.64.28.100. Where's my remote desktop connection? Gone. This one, paste. Okay. Hooray! Do you want to remotely connect to this one? Don't ask me again. Yes, I would. The screen's gone black. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So this is the weird part about remote desktoping.
Well, you did it.
Oh, it'll get there. Remember, we have gone for the smallest of small servers that you can possibly get. So we got to be patient with the little server. Well, it's free. It goes, hey, cool, I'm free, hooray! I'm also not the most powerful tool out there.
It's actually very cool.
So we're going to leave this for a second so it can do its turning on thing. And I'm going to, if you haven't used a remote desktop before, you've now on a different machine. Up the top, you've got the connection, the computer that you're connected to. I'm going to double click on this blue guy, and that'll now just be another little window. And what I like about it is you can resize it. Hooray! And it scales everything accordingly, so you can make it really awkwardly sized if you want. I'm going to connect to the second server as well now, just quickly. You could do these one at a time instead of two at once. Which one did I own? 102.84. No, I'd like to use a different account, please. And the account I would like to use is this one. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. Administrator, paste. Nick, any questions while we're doing this?
No, I mean, this makes all sense to me.
Great.
That is different.
That is different.
Why are you on
different?
2008?
I picked a different server type.
Uh-oh.
Well, it should be alright. We'll find out soon. Alright, so I hope so.
I hope it doesn't cost money, that one.
No, it was still free tier.
Yeah, but
the green box was there and I went, hooray.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be fine. If it costs me anything, whatever, it's going to be like a few cents for the hour. We're not using it for a full hour.
Yeah.
Alright, so now I want to be able to get my game, and I want to play my game on those other servers. So I need to be able to go to build settings. I've got both of the levels in there. Great. So I'd like to build the project, please.
Oh, cool. You can just say, okay, cool.
You can say build, and we'll come in here and make a new folder. So it's picking the directory, which is where I've created the project. So I'll come in here and go builds.
Builds.
And we'll call it 3D Buzz Game Analytics. And now that'll look like it's frozen for a while. Which is great. So we've now got 2 remote desktop servers up and running, and we're building our project. While this build finishes, we will finish this video off, and we will pick up exactly where we are leaving off in the next video. So thank you very much, everybody.
Cool. See ya.